Okay, so today we might start on a bit of an action note because there's a lot of ravens here. And yep, that's what I fucking thought. Okay, there's a whole lot of freaking ravens. And okay, there's nothing here. Wow, look at that. You see it? Holy damn. That's a lot of ravens. Suspiciously a lot of ravens. Like, yeah. So I ran because Drake was another one. Oh, I see. Okay. All right. So now we know why, probably. Wow. That's sure a lot of ravens. Oh, look at that. There's a raven feather here. Wow. What is happening? You see that? Well, I mean, I don't think they're up. They're here for this, because that is sure a load of, seemingly a load of crap. So it looks like the gamekeepers put another specialty on their menu, and this looks like a well, it looks like potatoes, carrot. There's some bread, some apples in it. It kind of looks like a sorry, I'm not sure if the angle was right. Yeah, it kind of looks like something that someone ate and then threw up and then put here, you know, or either they gathered here, you know, in great numbers, like imagine like 10, 15 gamekeepers, and ritually they all threw up into that spot, and that is what is here, you know. It's like ritual threw up for the deer, for the deer. I was gonna say for the deer animals, which is funny, pun not intended, but you know, for the animals, for deers as well, obviously. But to be honest, it looks better than. Hold on, I'm just gonna check if there's not anything here. No, there doesn't seem to be any carcass here around. Because Drake ran over there first, and then he was sniffing a lot. That's where the ravens were initially. And then he left off to there, and I needed to pee still, you know. Sometimes I will let you on a little secret, but sometimes I don't pee. Like when I wake up and I need to pee, I sometimes hold it to pee inside. Sorry, to pee outside. Because for some reason I just enjoy peeing outside more than I enjoy inside. And I'm thinking, hey, I'm gonna save water too, you know, because I don't have to flush. Dejku, co tam máš? He did found something probably, no? Sorry, man, I'm like a little anxious because a lot of ravens. I don't know, this many ravens? That feels to me like there is a carcass here somewhere. I cannot believe that they just went for the throw up, you know, quote unquote throw up. I mean, obviously it's not a throw up, but man, I've seen some things that they mixed like this, and it really seemed like totally like a throw up. Initially I thought there is a secret vigilante here who goes in the night and throws up on several places, because it was like a little heaps of pasta, well, something you would eat at lunch, you know. It's like seemed that way, and it was a little chewed, and it really looked like someone threw up, and it was here and there and there, and I was like, what's going on here? Is there someone who comes here alone, you know, in private, like at night, and throws up? Or like, I don't know, there are some youngsters in a car very often, and I was thinking like maybe they're drinking a lot and they just go up here and throw up. I don't know. But actually, those were probably what they mixed together and put it for the animals out there, you know, which was really freaking weird. because it looked exactly like a throw up. And that over there, Drejku, tady ideme, poď. That over there, by the way, look at those blackthorns. Now I know how they're called. Blackthorns or sloe. Prunus spinosa. So these beautifully are in flower, and they get even whiter and even more spectacular. And they smell sweetly and beautifully. And you make a spirit out of them too. But yeah, so it says from prunes, as I mentioned last time. But this one didn't look exactly like a throw up, but kinda, you know. But it's a funny idea, you know, like 20 gamekeepers gathering in a circle and everyone throwing up on the same pile. That's pretty funny sort of image to me. Anyway, it's what I wanted to say. It's definitely better than those doughs and God knows what else they put before. You know, this is a little better category, I would say, the throw up, because there's actually something, you know, like potatoes and, well, still wet bread, which is very questionable to me, but some apples, you know, there is something that you can pass off as a nutritious meal for animals, you know. Anyway, I found a feather there, and that one is undoubtedly from the raven. Look at that. I don't know, can you see it? Yeah. So that's pretty cool, and it's fresh. It definitely flew off or was dropped off from one of those ravens. By the way, can you hear it? Like, what is going on, man? There's like so many ravens around. It's so very unusual. They usually gather like this. I wouldn't think that it's a season, and they usually gather like this. You know what? Let's go after Drake this time. Like, he goes that way again, so maybe we're gonna, you know, find something out. Can change the route a little bit. So they usually gather in a different season, I feel like, and they do it, in my experience, they do it usually in the night, you know, like, or like at dusk when it's getting darker. They sort of gather, and then they choose a certain spot in the forest and they roost there together. That's what my experience is. And rooks and rooks and crows are doing something similar. So they have these, and for instance, rooks in the winter, when you're like in Central Europe, there are these spots where they gather in thousands, and it's incredible, you know. Thousands and thousands of birds fly to a certain spot every day, every night, and they roost there and spend their night there. And then during the day, they disperse again, and then they gather again for the night. But this is very interesting. There's a buzzard there. That wasn't a raven. Yeah, very interesting. And maybe some animal did die somewhere, and they are, you know, communicating, and maybe now we kind of spooked them, you know, so they're sort of slightly alarmed. Maybe they think we are gamekeepers, because I'm pretty sure gamekeepers would be shooting ravens as well, because ravens are one of those kind of controversial animals that people are like, well, they don't exactly love ravens, you know, because they tend to say like, oh, I mean, they kill, you know, young, they kill calves, you know, like young cows, and they kill, how do you call baby sheep? Damn, I don't know right now, but they kill young sheep, and you know, and they I don't know, peck out their eyes and all that, you know. And so there is a certain hostility towards ravens for that reason, because they're carnivores. I mean, they're kind of like omnivores, but of course they're like mainly focused on meat. But the thing is, they are scavengers first and foremost. So they're kind of like think of a so this was a raven feather. I'm gonna have to drop it here. It's very nice, but I'm not gonna keep it. I got tons of feathers. So now I'm gonna take Drake and I'm gonna continue with what I was saying. So think of a, it's gonna take a while. Think of a, not buzzard, but goddamn, what is the vulture? Think of a vulture, right? So vultures are the same in that regard. They're not at all understood by humans. They're not at all popular, but they're extremely valuable birds. Hold on, Drake. Good boy, dog. Extremely valuable, extremely endangered, completely misunderstood, and their story is so sad. Like, so how many of them are at the point of extinction, and how like people view them as like monsters, but they're in fact so incredibly valuable, exactly for the fact that they're scavengers. And when there's a dead animal, they pick it clean, and they hold on, I'm gonna have to take Drake again. Yeah, that's why I don't want to walk through here, Drake, you know, because there are tons of brambles. It's gonna get even worse in spring and summer because it's gonna get overgrown. That's why I don't want to go through here, buddy, because then I have to carry you like this. And I mean, I'm up for the exercise, but I don't know, it would be easier if we just go the old way, you know? Bro. Okay. I think he's not gonna want to go through there either. Well, let's try. Let's try if you gotta pass through there. So, they're scavengers, and the same goes for ravens. Of course, vultures are like prime example of scavengers. They're made to scavenge. They're made to eat dead animals. They're made to pick skeletons clean. They're completely perfected evolutionary for that. Ravens are not really like that, but they are first and foremost also scavengers. So if there is a dead animal, dead deer, there are going to be ravens immediately in there. Same for crows. But of course they do eat other things, right? Like, I mean, as I said, they're also like partly omnivores, so they're eating all sorts of other things too. I'm gonna, by the way, check up their constitution of their diet, and I'm gonna post it in the subtitles, like what the percentage of what. But with that being said, you know, ravens are not coming out and hunting live animals, you know. They could finish off a week, and for instance, sick animal, I think, that would be already dying, they could probably finish it off, maybe, I don't know. But they're just not like that, you know. They're gonna go after an animal once it's dead, and they're gonna go and eat some meat from a carcass and from a skeleton, and they're gonna scavenge first and foremost. They're not made, I mean, they're corvids, they're not hunters, so to speak. That's birds of prey, that's owls, those are hunters, right? So they're just not made for that, you know. But I'm sure there are stories that happen, you know, where there was a weak animal, they sort of, I don't know, pecked on it and they hurt it even more. So like, I can imagine that. But I mean, that's unfortunately how it goes in nature, that when you have a weak link, so to speak, in the whole chain, in the whole sort of ecosystem, it's gonna get picked off, and it is going to get eaten. That's just how it is, you know. And our society, and we turn this whole narrative upside down, and we don't do that anymore, you know. Like, if there's someone who's weak in our midst, we help that person, right? We provide tools and solutions to keep that person in our society, to keep up with us, to help him, her, and you know, that's what we do. But in nature, it doesn't work like that. You're either, if you're weak, you're injured, you're gonna either make it and recover on your own, or you're done. Unfortunately, that's how it is. And animals like ravens, they can exploit that situation, obviously, for their own gains. And can you blame them? I mean, you know. So yeah, that's just how it is. And but what I wanted to say is that ravens are definitely one of those rather controversial animals, and I know that people don't like them, and I know that definitely there are gamekeepers out there who shoot them as well. But we talked about ravens in some other video, how incredibly intelligent they are. They're like one of the, not only the most intelligent birds in the world, but they're one of the most intelligent animals in the entire world. And they're incredible brainiacs, really incredibly smart, and just incredible beings, really, all around. And again, they're just misunderstood. One of the things I think that led to that, by the way, look at this. Wow, isn't it beautiful? Absolutely gorgeous. So one of the things that led to that, I think, as well, and wolves are actually on the same side with that, is that ravens are a symbol of paganism. They're a symbol of anything but not God, right? The same goes for wolves. And by the way, wolves are also scavengers by a large part. They also go for dead bodies and dead animals. And that's what led to the hatred towards wolves and towards ravens. I believe as well. I think ravens actually got hit by the same sort of trend, so to speak, that these animals that are for one, a symbol of paganism, symbol of the old way, symbol of druids, and symbol of everything that Christianity wanted to root out and wanted to completely obliterate and cauterize from the society, you know, they were the symbol of that. Wolves, and I believe ravens too, because they're very much in the sort of pagan folklore. Like, I'm sure you know how important they are in, for instance, in Native American culture. Same for wolves, right? So they are symbol of paganism and symbol of anything but God, you know, God in sense of Christian God. And what I believe, and I'm almost certain that is the truth, because that goes for the wolves, is that in the Middle Ages, when there were battles, there were a lot of dead bodies around, right? I mean, there was a battle, they fought, and then when it was over, you had hundreds of bodies lying around in the field, lying around somewhere in the forest. And what happened? Wolves came to eat and chew on them and munch on them. And not only them, but ravens too. And actually ravens have a very close relationship with wolves, sort of a symbiotic relationship, where they are actually the ones that often find the bodies, and wolves are the ones that follow them to those bodies, to those carcasses, and they share it, and they have a mutual respect for each other. There's actually cases recorded when you know, wolves, for instance, sometimes play with some like, for instance, dead animals, just like cats do sometimes, you know, like they would go and they would play chase and they would like throw it around and so on. And there are recorded cases when they happened upon a dead raven and they acted in complete respect towards that raven. They didn't touch it, they didn't play with it, they didn't do anything with it, because they really do have this mutual respectful relationship that goes on probably for millions of years, or hundreds of thousands at least. And they respect each other in ways that we probably can't even comprehend. And so they're closely tied together, and they were the ones who went onto that battlefield, the former battlefield, and they started to peck out the eyes of your loved ones, you know, of your good Christians. They went on and they were starting to gouge out their eyes and eat out their tongues. So if you were a Christian back then and you saw that, you would think, oh, those are the devils that come to, you know, mock us or something, you know. And they were really viewed that way. Like wolves were viewed that way because they went and they were eating the bodies, absolutely horrendously eating those bodies and chewing them up. Like, what would you do? I mean, there's tons of meat for free lying somewhere. Of course you're gonna go and eat it, right? But the Christians back there didn't have that understanding, obviously, for nature's ways, and they really viewed wolves as a pagan symbol, as a symbol of the devil and of everything that they were afraid of too. They were very afraid of it. So that's how wolves were demonized throughout the whole Europe and throughout the whole culture. That's why you have wolves like as a symbol of something like dangerous, and you have in the films they're always like the aggressive sort of killing people and all that. That's bullshit, you know. I'm not saying wolves never killed a person. Of course they did. I mean, you know, of course they did. I mean, they're predators. They're large. They have sharp teeth. I mean, obviously, just as much as dogs killed a lot of people, just as much as, hell, I'm sure there are some birds that kill people, you know. I mean, hell, of course. But they're extremely shy. They're extremely shy animals, and they're not going to attack unless they're in absolutely dire need of food, and they're absolutely desperate. That then they're not going to attack, and they're very shy, and they keep away from people, and they are first and foremost, I would say, if they can choose between a carcass and actually hunting something, of course they're going to choose the carcass, because why would you want to spend your energy on hunting and doing something that has an uncertain end? You don't know if you're going to hunt out that animal, and if you're going to spend so much energy chasing it and then not succeed, you're closer to starvation. So why would you do that, right? So they're choosing intentionally, they're going to go for a carcass way more than they would ever hunt an animal, because that is so energetically taxing. By the way, do you see how they're scattered? Like there's one over there. I don't know, maybe just hanging around, I guess, you know. Who knows what they're up to. Yeah, Drake is like sniffing around. See, yeah, that's where he went to before. Drejko, co tam máš? That's where he went off to, and I was like, I'm gonna check it out, but I didn't go there that far. So let's just check, but I don't see anything really. So either they already picked it clean, which I doubt, because if it was something large, then, oh, there's nothing here. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? I wish I would understand them, you know. I think we could have a pretty cool conversation, because they're extremely intelligent, as I said. Oh, so maybe they're just eating that throw up over there, you know, which is surprising to me, because if I would be a raven, I would rather go for, I don't know, I'd just rather find a dead deer somewhere or something, you know. And that over there is probably just a pile of yeah, that's nothing, it's just the grass. Well, so what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so they're gonna preferably go for a carcass, and ravens are the same, and they're not even made to hunt, you know. They don't have claws, you know, that could grab something or kill something. They don't. Like, I mean, look at crows or ravens' feet. It's just big birds' feet, you know. And look at Drake chasing the ravens. Yeah, I think he thinks that, I mean, I think he just enjoys chasing them, you know. He knows he can't catch them since they have wings. And probably he thinks there might be something he could, you know, munch on. So maybe it's like a thrill of the chase, and also thrill of the chase, and then a promise that there might be something actually. Well, so ravens are not even made to hunt, you know. They're just not like that, and their beaks are like sharp, sure, strong, but again, they don't have anything that could, like, they don't have a evolutionary modification or adaptation that would easily tear off meat like a birds of prey do. So, you know, just saying. And yeah, I believe they were demonized along with the wolves by the Christianity, you know, because they're symbols of the old way, symbol of paganism, and symbol of something that is unholy. Because when you see your loved one dead on the battlefield, and Raven comes in and it takes out take out that person's eye, and it starts to eat its brain, for instance, I'm going to be a little graphic here, then of course you're like, oh my god, this is demonic, you know. But no, it's just nature, you know, that's just how it is. And obviously those animals, they see nutrition and they see free food, you know, obviously they're gonna go for it, and they're gonna go for the soft parts. That's another thing, that what those birds were gonna go for first will be eyes, tongue, lips, and in animals as well, and they go for anus as well, you know, like all those soft parts they're gonna start at, because that's just the easiest, you know. So yeah, can be pretty brutal sight, I guess, but that's just, you know, that's just how it is. They don't see eyes and all that, they see nutritions. So I just realized I wanted to talk to you about Miss Bossy, because I went to the vet yesterday. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to talk about it in its fullness, because we're at the end right now, as you can see, but I'm just going to say that Miss Bossy is alive. She for a moment I was worried that we might have to, well, there would be any other way but to, you know, euthanize her, which fortunately didn't happen, and I did get treatment for her. I have antibiotics in a syringe that I'm gonna inject her under her skin. I've got a special nutritious diet that I'm gonna make like a little mesh from, and that you feed young parents with, so it's like very nutritious and easy to digest, which I'm grateful for, because before I was trying to force fed her some like earthworms, and it was kind of hard and probably not ideal. So I've got that. And we found out she's got parasites as well. Oh shit! That's this dog. Okay, that's fine. For a moment, I thought it's the neighbor's dog and they hate each other, so that would be a little problematic. But that dog is never without a leash. Oh no, they're fine. Yeah, this one's cool. This one's friendly. Anyway, but I'm gonna just say that. Probably gonna have to turn off the camera because there's a person there, so I'm gonna sign off now.